Welcome to Mentally Healthy. We're so glad you're here. Today, we're showcasing our new book, Mentally Healthy, Mind Over Matter, a comprehensive companion guide to mental wellness. Within this book, together, we will discover the secrets to effectively managing stress and anxiety, building strong, healthy relationships, practicing self-care and cultivating resilience, incorporating mindfulness and meditation into your daily life, understanding common mental health conditions and how to manage them, and lastly, seeking professional assistance and locating the appropriate resources for your specific needs. Our book is available in several formats, which includes Kindle and ebook formats, paperback, and hardcover. Pick up your copy today. And now, today's feature.
Let's take a moment to relax and breathe. Today, we're going to learn and explore how to stop negative self-talk, tips and techniques. Welcome back to our channel, where we explore the fascinating mysteries of the human heart, the complexities of our minds, and the beautiful mesh they weave together. But before we jump in, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoy our content, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos. Imagine this, your reflection staring back at you in the mirror. Suddenly, a barrage of thoughts floods in. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'm a failure. These whispers, growing louder with every passing moment, are the manifestations of negative self-talk. In this daily hustle, we often forget that we can be our own worst critics. We berate ourselves for the smallest of mistakes, engage in self-deprecation, and compare ourselves with others, often harshly. This can take a toll on our mental health and overall well-being, even though we might not realize it. But what if we told you, it's within our power to silence this inner critic? To replace it with a supportive, understanding voice that can actually improve our self-confidence, self-esteem, and overall mental health. That's right. Today we are going to dive deep into how to stop negative self-talk. Join us as we explore the tips and techniques that can help us transform our thoughts. If you're ready, let's get started. What is negative self-talk? Negative self-talk refers to the critical inner dialogue that often belittles, undervalues, or undermines oneself. It's the internal narrative that negatively interprets our experiences, doubts our abilities, and predicts unfavorable outcomes. It's like having an internal critic that's always ready to point out our shortcomings and errors. Negative self-talk can take various forms and varies widely from person to person. It can be subtle, such as doubting one's ability to accomplish a task successfully, like, I'm probably not good enough to do this, or it can be more explicitly self-defeating, such as berating oneself for past mistakes, like, I'm such an idiot for messing that up. Here are some common types of negative self-talk. Personalizing. This involves blaming yourself whenever something bad happens. For instance, if your team fails to complete a project on time, you might tell yourself, it's my fault that we didn't meet the deadline, even though there were other factors involved. Catastrophizing. This is when you always anticipate the worst possible outcome. For instance, if you stumble over your words in a presentation, you might think, I totally blew it. Everyone probably thinks I'm incompetent. Filtering. This involves magnifying the negative aspects of a situation and filtering out all of the positive ones. For example, you might focus on the one minor critique in an otherwise positive performance review, telling yourself, I'm terrible at my job. Polarizing. Also known as black and white thinking, this involves seeing things in only extremes. If you make a mistake, you might tell yourself, I'm a complete failure. There's no room for middle ground or recognizing that everyone makes mistakes. While everyone experiences negative self-talk from time to time, it can become problematic if it's a constant presence in our thoughts. Over time, persistent negative self-talk can lead to increased stress, decreased motivation, lower self-esteem, and even mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. Recognizing and understanding negative self-talk is the first step towards transforming it and developing a healthier, more positive internal dialogue. Practical tips to stop negative self-talk. Understanding negative self-talk is important, but knowing how to combat it is equally, if not more, crucial. Here are some strategies to help you on your path to positivity. Tip number 1: recognize and acknowledge. The first step in dealing with negative self-talk is to recognize and acknowledge its presence. Often, we become so accustomed to the internal critic that we don't even realize when it's speaking. Recognizing negative self-talk involves being aware of your thoughts and emotions. You might start by noticing patterns in your thinking. Are there certain situations that tend to trigger more negative thoughts? Are there common themes in your critical thoughts, such as feeling inadequate, fearing failure, or anticipating negative outcomes? Paying attention to your emotions can also be a useful indicator. Negative self-talk often leaves us feeling anxious, depressed, or overwhelmed. If you notice a sudden change in your mood, it might be worthwhile to tune into your thoughts and see what kind of internal dialogue is taking place. Once you've recognized your negative self-talk, the next step is to acknowledge it. This doesn't mean agreeing with it or accepting it as truth. Instead, acknowledging your negative self-talk involves admitting to yourself that it's happening and understanding its impact on you. A helpful strategy is to treat your negative self-talk as if it were coming from an external source. You might imagine it as a critical person who always has something negative to say. This can help you to separate these thoughts from your own self-perception and identity, making it easier to challenge and change them later on. It's also important to remember not to judge yourself harshly when you notice negative self-talk. Everyone experiences negative self-talk at times, and recognizing and acknowledging it is a significant step towards overcoming it. By being aware of our internal dialogue and its impact, we gain the power to challenge and change it. Acknowledging our negative self-talk isn't about beating ourselves up over it, it's about empowering ourselves to create a more positive, supportive internal dialogue. Tip number 2: replace negativity with positivity. Once we've recognized and acknowledged our negative self-talk, the next step is to replace it with positive affirmations or thoughts. It's not enough to just try to ignore or suppress the negative thoughts, as they tend to find a way to reemerge. Instead, we must consciously choose to counter them with positive ones. Replacing negativity with positivity involves taking those negative statements and reframing them into something more constructive and optimistic. For example, if your internal critic says, "I always mess up," you might replace it with, "Everyone makes mistakes. I'm learning and growing from this experience." Or if your internal dialogue insists, "I can't do this," you might counter it with, "This is a challenge, but I have the skills and resources to handle it." This process isn't about denying the existence of problems or challenges, but rather about adopting a more hopeful and empowering perspective towards them. It's about choosing to focus on your strengths and capabilities, rather than your perceived failures or shortcomings. It's also important to use positive affirmations that resonate with you and reflect your values and goals. These affirmations should be realistic, specific, and framed in the present tense to make them more effective. For example, instead of saying, "I will be successful," which is vague and set in the future, you might say, "I am working hard every day to achieve my goals." Replacing negative self-talk with positivity may feel uncomfortable or forced at first. However, with practice, it becomes more natural. It's like building a muscle: the more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Remember, this isn't about achieving perfection or never having a negative thought again. It's about gradually shifting your internal dialogue to be more supportive and uplifting, fostering a more positive mindset that can enhance your well-being and quality of life. Tip number 3: challenge your thoughts. One of the most effective ways to combat negative self-talk is to challenge the validity and usefulness of these self-defeating thoughts. Often, we accept our negative thoughts as absolute truths without examining their basis in reality. By challenging these thoughts, we can dismantle their power over us and start to replace them with more positive, empowering beliefs. Here's how you can challenge your negative self-talk. Ask for evidence. If your inner critic tells you that you're not good enough or that you always fail, ask for evidence. Are there instances where you've succeeded? What skills or strengths do you possess? By demanding proof, you force yourself to consider the whole picture rather than focusing solely on negatives. Look for alternatives. Negative self-talk tends to be absolute, overlooking any alternative possibilities. For instance, if you're thinking, "I'm bad at public speaking," consider whether there might be another explanation, like "I'm inexperienced with public speaking," which allows for growth and improvement. Use the best friend test. If your best friend was going through the same situation, what would you tell them? Would you be as harsh or as critical? Often, we're much kinder to others than we are to ourselves. If it wouldn't be fair to say to a friend, it's not fair to say to yourself. Evaluate the impact. Consider the impact of your negative thoughts on your feelings and behaviors. Are they motivating you or holding you back? By realizing the detrimental effects of negative self-talk, you can make a more conscious decision to shift towards more positive and constructive thoughts. Remember, challenging your thoughts is not about suppressing or avoiding your negative self-talk, but about confronting it and discrediting its claims. Over time, this can help you develop a more balanced and positive internal dialogue, fostering greater self-esteem and emotional well-being. Tip number 4. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a form of meditation that involves focusing your full attention on the present moment and accepting it without judgment. It can be an effective tool for combating negative self-talk, as it allows you to observe your thoughts and feelings without getting swept up in them or judging them as good or bad. Here's how you can practice mindfulness to manage your negative self-talk. Awareness. Start by simply becoming more aware of your thoughts. When a negative thought arises, instead of automatically believing it or getting caught up in it, try to step back and observe it. Notice how it makes you feel and how it affects your behavior. Non-judgment. Mindfulness involves observing your thoughts and feelings without judging them. This means not labeling your thoughts as good or bad, right or wrong. Just accept them as they are. This can be particularly helpful with negative self-talk, as it allows you to see these thoughts as what they really are, just thoughts, not facts. Focus on the present. Negative self-talk often involves ruminating on past mistakes or worrying about future events. Mindfulness, on the other hand, is all about staying in the present moment. Try to focus your attention on what's happening right now. This can help you break free from the cycle of negative self-talk. Mindful breathing. A simple way to practice mindfulness is through mindful breathing. This involves focusing your attention on your breath as it goes in and out. Whenever your mind starts to wander, which it will, gently bring your focus back to your breath. This can be a calming and centering exercise that helps you stay grounded in the present moment. Regular practice. Like any skill, mindfulness improves with practice. Try to set aside a few minutes each day for mindfulness meditation. There are many guided meditations available online to help you get started. Practicing mindfulness can help you develop a more balanced perspective on your thoughts and feelings. It allows you to notice your negative self-talk without being controlled by it, creating space for more positive and constructive thoughts. By staying present and attentive to your thoughts and feelings without judgment, you can observe your negative self-talk without getting swept up in it. Mindfulness allows you to notice these thoughts, see them for what they are, just thoughts, and then let them go. Tip number 5, seek support. When it comes to combating negative self-talk, don't underestimate the power of seeking support from others. This could mean talking to trusted friends or family members about what you're experiencing, joining a support group, or seeking professional help from a therapist or a counselor. Here's how seeking support can aid in managing negative self-talk. Shared experience. Talking to others who are going through a similar experience can make you feel less alone. They can offer insights, strategies, and perspectives that you might not have considered. Sharing experiences can also help to normalize what you're going through and help you realize that everyone struggles with negative self-talk at times. New perspectives. Sometimes, we're so wrapped up in our own thoughts that we struggle to see things objectively. A trusted friend, family member, or counselor can provide a fresh perspective and help challenge the negative narratives we tell ourselves. They can help us to recognize when our self-talk is overly critical or not based in reality. Emotional support. Negative self-talk can lead to feelings of sadness, anxiety, or low self-esteem. Having a supportive person to talk to can provide emotional support and validation, helping you to cope with these difficult feelings. Professional help. Therapists and counselors are trained to help people navigate negative self-talk. They can provide you with effective strategies and techniques tailored to your specific needs and circumstances. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, for example, is a type of therapy that focuses on helping people recognize and change harmful thought patterns. Ongoing motivation. Working with a support group or a professional can provide ongoing motivation for changing negative self-talk. They can help hold you accountable, celebrate your progress, and provide encouragement during challenging times. Remember, seeking help is not a sign of weakness but a proactive step towards better mental health. Everyone needs support from time to time, and there's no shame in reaching out when you need it. In fact, seeking support can often be the first step towards overcoming negative self-talk and developing a healthier, more positive mindset. Tip number 6: Affirmations. Affirmations are positive, empowering statements that you can say to yourself to counteract negative self-talk. They are designed to help you cultivate a more positive mindset, boost your self-esteem, and encourage positive changes in your life. Here's how using affirmations can help in managing negative self-talk. Redirecting focus. Negative self-talk tends to keep us stuck on our faults and failures. Affirmations, on the other hand, shift our focus to our strengths, capabilities, and aspirations. This shift in focus can help us break free from the cycle of negativity and open up to a more optimistic perspective. Rewriting inner narrative. By repeatedly reciting affirmations, we begin to internalize them, gradually replacing the negative narratives in our minds. Over time, these positive statements can become our default thoughts, helping us to develop a more positive and empowering inner dialogue. Boosting self-esteem. Affirmations are often centered around self-love, self-acceptance, and self-confidence. By affirming our worth and abilities, we can help to boost our self-esteem and combat the feelings of inadequacy often associated with negative self-talk. Encouraging positive change. Positive affirmations not only impact our thoughts but can also influence our actions. By affirming positive traits and behaviors, we can motivate ourselves to embody these qualities and work towards positive change. Cultivating mindfulness. The practice of affirmations requires mindfulness as you need to consciously choose and focus on positive statements. This can help in fostering mindfulness, allowing us to become more aware of our thought patterns and take active steps towards positivity. When creating affirmations, make sure they are positive, in the present tense, and personally meaningful to you. Examples of affirmations could include I am capable and strong, I choose to focus on the positive, or I am worthy of love and respect. Remember, like any new skill, using affirmations effectively can take some practice. It may feel awkward or uncomfortable at first, but with time and consistency, you'll likely find them to be a powerful tool in your fight against negative self-talk. Negative self-talk can feel overwhelming, but remember, you have the power to change your narrative. By following these tips, you can take a step towards positivity and improve mental health. Have you ever noticed patterns of negative self-talk in your life? If so, how has it affected you? Which strategy discussed in the video do you find most effective or appealing to combat negative self-talk? Why? How do you usually deal with negative self-talk? Do you have any personal tips or techniques that you'd like to share with our community? Can you share an example of a positive affirmation that has helped you shift away from negative self-talk? How has mindfulness helped you in dealing with negative thoughts, if at all? We encourage you to share your thoughts, experiences, and insights in the comments section below. If comfortable, we'd love to hear a success story of when you managed to transform negative self-talk into positives. Remember, your insights could be just what someone else needs to hear to start their journey towards eliminating negative self-talk. So, let's create a supportive community and learn from each other's experiences. As always, if you or someone you know are experiencing excessive negative self-talk episodes that feel overwhelming, please know there is help. Finding a therapist who one can talk with could be an important next step. Your friends here at Mentally Healthy support the American Psychological Association for finding a good therapist and ensuring you work with a qualified professional who has background and expertise that will benefit you and your specific needs. We are not affiliated with that organization and receive no special compensation for recommending them. We just recognize the importance of finding qualified professionals to help us when help is needed. Another great resource is also available for those that can take advantage of it. For all our viewers that reside in the United States, a hotline is available to act as an immediate response lifeline center for all suicide and crisis events. Just call or text the number 988, local rates may apply, to immediately be placed in touch with someone you can talk to. If you are a U.S. veteran or military service member, you may text the U.S. Veterans Crisis Line directly at 838-255. Both of these resources will also be placed in the description area of this video. Use these trusted resources as needed.
Well, that's all for today. Thanks so much for joining us at Mentally Healthy. If you've enjoyed our video, please like it, and consider subscribing to our channel, as we have lots of great new content in store for you. Subscribing, liking, and clicking the notification bell keeps you connected to us, and truly helps our channel grow. Here's a few other great videos from our channel you can visit right now. Until next time, stay mentally healthy.